Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we revisit an interview with Chris Novak from the National Corn Growers Association, where he talks about world demand for U.S. corn. And inside Kansas Ag, we'll get a report from Brad Parker from the Kansas Soybean Commission, and Kansas Farm Bureau talks to us about fire relief assistance. And in news you need to know, we got our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Wheat Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association. Supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. Walmart Stores Incorporated says it's aiming to phase out the sales of eggs from caged hens by 2025, becoming the largest and most influential food retailer to set a deadline from switching to cage-free eggs. Walmart, the largest grocer in the United States with a control of a quarter of the market, said it will require that egg suppliers adopt an industry standard for treatment of hens by 2025 and have their compliance monitored by a third party. The move will likely add pressure to the egg industry, which is facing a costly transition to cage-free environments. Several lawmakers on Capitol Hill are asking the head of the Environmental Protection Agency to audit and investigate an EPA grant used for an anti-agricultural campaign. Some environmental groups and an Indian tribe reportedly have funded several anti-farmer billboards in Washington state that are paid for by the EPA grant. As part of the lobbying campaign for clean water, the billboards accuse farmers of polluting water. Senate Ag Committee Chair Pat Roberts of Kansas and Senator Jim Inhofe of Oklahoma, chairman of the Senate Environment and Works Committee, have made the request of the EPA's Inspector General. In the first ratings of the season, the U.S. winter wheat crop is in generally good condition overall. 59% of the crop is in good to excellent condition compared to 43% this time last year. 34% is rated fair and 7% is called poor to very poor. And in local news, the Sorghum Checkoff, Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission, and Kansas State University have entered into a cooperative agreement to increase grain sorghum productivity and expand markets by 2025. Coordinated efforts for the Collaborative Sorghum Investment Program will operate through the Center for Sorghum Improvement at K-State. Support for this program will total $4.8 million. Consisting of a $2 million investment from the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission and $2 million from the Sorghum Checkoff, as well as an $800,000 investment from K-State. Kansas corn stocks in all positions on March 1st totaled 285 million bushels, up 21% from 2015, according to the USDA's NASS. Of the 72 million bushels are stored on farm, up 22% from a year ago. Wheat stored in all positions totaled 260 million bushels, up 40% from a year ago. On-farm stocks of 9.2 million bushels are up 28% from 2015. Soybeans stored in all positions totaled 64.2 million bushels, down 2% from last year. On-farm stocks of 14 million bushels are unchanged from a year ago. Truckloads of seeds are ready to roll from sorghum research leader Chromatin to bring low-cost seed to farmers and ranchers affected by the Anderson Creek fire that burned 467,000 acres in northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. Daphne Pruis, CEO of Chromatin, said the seed will be offered at generous cost-share prices to allow farmers and ranchers to get quick ground cover in the areas affected by the fire and help them restore supplies of forage for livestock. The sorghum seed program is aimed primarily at Barber and Comanche counties in Kansas and Woods County in Oklahoma. Call 855-SORGHUM for program details. Up next in our Ag Feature, we revisit an interview with Chris Novak from the National Corn Growers Association, where he talks about world demand for U.S. corn. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second-to-none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City.
Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're at the 2016 Commodity Classic here in Manhattan. We're joined by Chris Novak, who's the Executive Director of the U.S.
National Corn Growers
Association.
Association.
You guys know I'm horrible with names anyway. So Chris, thanks for joining us this morning. I will put it to you like I did Dalton last week, which was we can look at it half full, we can look at it half empty, and I think you guys are probably looking at it as half full.
We are looking at it as half full, and market challenges, those are our reality for our farmers today. And yet, as I shared with the group here at Kansas Commodity Classic, they're farmers. They've been through this before, they've seen this before, they know how to tighten their belts, they know how to figure out where and when they should cut costs. And from my standpoint, our team, the farmer leaders who are a part of our board, the commitment is, how do we grow the market? How do we increase demand for the corn that's being produced today?
And not only that, record number of acres planted last year. We continue to see acres up. Production, technology nowadays, we are producing more with less. At some point in time, there's got to be a leveling off, would you think, for the corn farmer?
Well, producing more with less, and that's a part of the sustainability story that we do want to tell consumers, the fact that we are growing more corn on the same acres. We're using fewer resources, we're using fewer pesticides, we're using less fertilizer because because we recognize that we have that obligation to protect and promote a healthy environment. NCGA is invested in a soil health partnership to work with farmers to restore the fertility and the quality of our soil. So these are the types of things that we're doing to ensure that we're productive long-term.
Well, and long-term, staying profitable long-term, EPA is not doing corn corn growers any favors as far as when it comes to blending rules?
And first, we've worked with the EPA on a number of occasions, reaching out. The president of our organization invited EPA to his farm to talk about waters of the United States and what farmers are doing. He farms in the Chesapeake Bay, which is an area that's under a lot of scrutiny from a water quality standpoint.
And she's from that area?
Yes, and so we've made that effort to reach out to the administration. At times they listen, and yet at the same time we ended up with a Waters of the U.S. rule that we think is unworkable for American agriculture. And we had hoped that they would have heard and understood greater the challenges that we're facing. On the demand side, we see the president going to Paris and talking about the importance of climate change, and at the same time his EPA announcing a renewable fuel level that is not compliant with the law that was passed by Congress. We know there's a lot of politics, we know there's a lot of opposition from the oil industry, but we think that it's important that EPA do the right thing and that they adhere to the law. And so it's one of the reasons that we are filing suit, not because we want to, but because we believe that there's an obligation to ensuring the future of renewable fuels. We think that ultimately it is something that consumers will recognize and value as being safer for the environment and important for our economy.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll finish up with Chris. Watch your Kansas Ag Report, and we'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We're at the 2016 Commodity Classic in Manhattan, Kansas, and we're joined by Chris Novak with the National Corn Growers Association. Golly, anyways. Chris, TPP, important to corn farmers?
Absolutely critical. Trans-Pacific Partnership, at least 12 countries that have signed the agreement that has been presented to Congress now. We need Congress to approve the TPP. And it's critical for us, not in terms of just the markets that it opens for corn farmers, but we also see tremendous opportunity for increased livestock exports from the U.S., which means that every pound of livestock, every pound of meat that goes overseas carries with it bushels of grain, and our farmers recognize the importance of opening those livestock markets with TPP. We've had few opportunities in American agriculture as great as what TPP offers us in terms of 18,000 tariffs that will be eliminated by this free trade agreement, opportunity for U.S. goods that are competitive in the world marketplace to move overseas without barriers.
Well, not only that, you think about it, you look at Cuba. We may just say it's just right down the street. We've got to do something about Cuba.
I had the opportunity this last summer with the U.S. Grains Council, our sister organization that focuses on developing new international markets. They hosted us in Cuba, fascinating country to travel to, and the recognition of what Cuba could become. The importance and value of trade with Cuba, what that means in terms of them supplying the U.S. With agricultural goods and products, the opportunity for an increase in tourism and commerce to increase. What I saw in Cuba was an industry, a food industry, an agricultural industry that is still developing. And yet one that demonstrates that there's great opportunity for us to be delivering grain 90 miles off the coast of the U.S.
Just down the street.
Just down the street.
Okay, real quick, we've just got a few seconds left. I'm just going to bring this up. GMOs, I know the National Corn Growers Association's in favor of a standardized looking at GMOs. Is there a website that we can get, and everybody needs to understand, we're talking about safe affordable food when it comes to GMOs. Is there a website people can go and get the facts?
Start at ncga.com, our website.
If you would like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call, 785-580-3287.
Kindergarten through 6th grade teachers are invited to a 3-week science immersion at Kansas State University. The Summer Soybean Science Institute's primary goal, with funding assistance from the Kansas Soybean Commission, is to help them gain experience teaching science as inquiry by literally getting their hands dirty. They will work with peers to develop a unit around soybean that uses the scientific method and addresses science standards. More important, participants learn how to teach systems thinking while studying soybeans from pod to plate, working alongside K-State scientists, experiencing hands-on experiments and field trips, and incorporating technology in the classroom. Participants must commit to attending 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. weekdays, May 31 to June 17. In return, they receive stipends, lodging if necessary, classroom supplies, and new and improved science teaching skills. Any teacher who wants to be considered for the program should send a brief statement of interest, contact information, and the names of 2 reference teachers to Professor Brian McCornack at K-State by April 22. For his contact information and more details about the Summer Soybean Science Institute, visit mysoybean.org on the web.
As those impacted by the Anderson Creek wildfire continue to assess their needs and start the long cleanup and rebuilding process, many groups and organizations are working together to help. Donations and requests continue to be added to Kansas Farm Bureau's fire relief site at www.kfb.org/fire relief. If you'd like to offer help or make a donation, please visit our website. And if you have been impacted and are in need of help or supplies, you're also encouraged to visit the website and add your specific request. State and local FSA employees are working to educate those impacted about programs that may be available. Additional information about these programs and other resources available can be found by visiting the Kansas Department of Agriculture's website, which is linked on the KFB Fire Relief page. Documenting losses are crucial when applying for help, so make sure to have detailed ranch and veterinary records available, and if possible, photos of any damage will be very beneficial. Again, the address of our website is www.kfb.org/fire relief.
If you would like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call, 785-580-3287. Thank you for watching Kansas Ag Report. You have made us the highest rated ag TV show in the state of Kansas, and we thank you.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Spring is sprung and Premier Farm & Home has what you need to keep your yard crabgrass free throughout the season. With a complete line of pre-emergents, you can stop crabgrass before it starts. Premier Farm & Home, 900 Southwest University Boulevard, or find them on the web at heycow.com.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Spring is sprung, and Premier Farm & Home has what you need to keep your yard crabgrass free throughout the season. With a complete line of pre-emergents, you can stop crabgrass before it starts. Premier Farm & Home, 900 Southwest University Boulevard, or find them on the web at heycow.com.
The Farm Credit Associations of Kansas and CoBank are donating $138,000 to the Kansas Livestock Foundation for wildfire relief. These and other funds will be used to purchase fencing supplies, pay for the treatment of cattle injured in the fire, and other priority needs identified by local KLA leadership in counties affected by wildfire. Denver-based CoBank is matching contributions made by the Farm Credit Associations of Kansas, which includes American Ag Credit, Farm Credit of Ness City, Farm Credit of Southwest Kansas, Farm Credit of Western Kansas, Frontier Farm Credit, and High Plains Farm Credit. The 6 Farm Credit Associations of Kansas provide financing to agriculture throughout Kansas and have a long history of partnering with KLA on important initiatives for livestock producers. The Foundation's Wildfire Relief Fund also has benefited from recent progressive auctions. 2 steers donated to wildfire relief by the Reno County Cattlemen's Association sold at Hutchinson for nearly $30,000. KLA President Matt Perrier and Dale Banks Angus of Eureka donated a purebred Angus heifer that generated more than $25,000 at a sale in Eureka. A steer donated by Holscher Farms of Bushton brought $12,650 at Salina. Every dollar collected by the foundation will be used to help ranchers in counties affected by wildfires.
Good morning. I'm Cody Wintersheet with Paragon Ag Advisors. Now halfway through April, the planters are really starting to roll hard in most areas. As producers get busy in the fields, don't forget to keep an eye and ear open to the market environment around you. In a lot of years, it seems like when producers are the busiest is when the markets tend to give you some of the best opportunities of the year. Soybeans would be a good current example of this. It's really been a polar opposite movement in corn and soybeans ever since the big March 31st USDA report. Soybeans have continued to put together an impressive, yet to some degree head-scratching rally, which for this early in the season makes for some decent opportunities, whereas the corn and wheat unfortunately continue to trade in the cellar. Keep in mind, the funds still hold an impressive overall bearish position in corn and wheat, so if there are any weather hiccups in the future, those markets should hopefully see some reprieve. As one would have to imagine at these levels, there is probably very little, if any, weather premium left. While there is still time and reasons to be optimistic for this year, do not underestimate the magnitude of these numbers the USDA recently gave us, specifically the corn acre number. That number will certainly be a dark cloud hanging over the corn market until it happens to be adjusted. Other items of interest are big outside forces, crude oil and the US dollar. They continue to make some waves here lately and thankfully in beneficial directions for the rest of the commodity sector. Thank you and have a great day.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Wheat Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association. Supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.